through the numerous MBTI resources surrounding the INFJ personality type, there are a few overlapping descriptive terms used across the board. Not only do these specific adjectives best describe the INFJ type, but when combined, they also give others an idea of just how unique this type really is. Welcome or welcome back, Psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it. Starting with number 1. Principled. With high standards and morals, the INFJ takes an unbiased approach to the concept of right and wrong. Being the go-to person to deflect conflict and de-escalate disputes, INFJs have the ability to see things from all angles in order to reason fairly. They have strong beliefs and values, especially when it comes to ethics, and through their passionate viewpoints, can often inspire and persuade others into changing their outlook. Number 2. Private. No matter what's going on in the INFJ's life, whether it be exciting or de-stressing, this personality type is never the one to open up to others. The INFJ is known as the advocate or the counselor personality type for a reason. They much prefer to be in the seat of the therapist than that of the patient. In fact, despite the required trust being proven to this type, they say no matter how much you think you know an INFJ, there's always some part of themselves that they have yet to share. Number 3. Reserved. Speaking of their preference for keeping their life private from others, the same goes with their emotional presence. The INFJ personality type is already known to be rather unreactive, so when it comes to expressing their feelings outwardly, it's nearly impossible for them to not stop themselves. INFJs prefer to keep the emotions and feelings they do have hidden from the world. Whether it's an effort to avoid burdening themselves from others or simply due to the fact that they rarely want to elaborate on what's going on within their inner minds. INFJs always seem to keep their exterior calm, cool, and collected, no matter how hectic their surroundings are. Number 4. Idealistic. Idealism comes with both its positives and negatives, especially when being a solid part of one's foundations. For INFJs, it's their inner fantasy world that fuels these idealistic ways. With a combination of optimism and imagination, INFJs tend to strive for results and seek expectations that are only possible in a perfect world. And while this idealistic viewpoint encourages them to be their best selves, it can also cause some disappointing scenarios. Number 5. Altruistic. Speaking of future goals, compassion drives nearly every goal the INFJ sets out to accomplish throughout their lives. Benevolence is part of the INFJ's wiring and often rules over what they ultimately believe in and who they want to be in this world. For example, if the common good of humanity is not a part of a potential career path they are considering, it's very likely that they will not last for long. INFJs strive for the reward of giving back, even in the subtlest of ways. Number 6. Empathetic. Speaking of charitable acts of kindness, it's fair to say that the subconscious pull towards needing to make a difference in this world is all rooted in their gift of empathy. Through their extroverted feeling function, the INFJ can easily put themselves in others' shoes, and often does so without even thinking about it. And while this doesn't always lead to a sympathetic way of approaching human interactions, it certainly allows them a better understanding into the human mind as a whole, as well as the intentions and struggles of individual human beings. Number 7. Attune. Aside from their empathetic ways, the INFJ is known to be tuned in and turned on to both their inner world and the world around them. Ironically, this personality type is able to simultaneously gather information from their surroundings while processing it at record speeds. Despite their reputation of being in their heads, the INFJ is actually much more attentive and observant than expected, allowing them for their deep understandings and quick learning that they're known for. Number 8. Modest. There's no place the INFJ would avoid being more than center stage. Whether it comes to how they present themselves or how they share their ideas, humility always comes first. With a preference for applying their knowledge and skills through a more backseat approach, this personality type wouldn't mind letting another person be the center of attention to avoid overwhelming praise. With that being said, this modest approach comes with its repercussions, often leaving the INFJ feeling underappreciated and unseen. Number 6. Intuitive. There's no going around the fact that INFJ's main cognitive driver is introverted intuition in its rawest form. This means that INFJs not only utilize their intuitive instincts in the most basic ways day in and day out, but they also tend to make decisions based on very little conscious reasoning. Luckily, this personality type has a yin and yang balance when it comes to their intuitive and logical minds, but there's nothing that overrides an INFJ's instinctual sixth sense, no matter whether they see it as a curse or a blessing. Number 10. Humanist. Ironic enough, the INFJ is known for both avoiding social interactions with their fellow Earthlings while remaining absolutely fascinated and protective of them all at the same time. Deep down inside, this personality type is a people person, despite their introverted ways. They base their humanist beliefs on overall human welfare and fulfillment, preferring to stem their understanding of the universe through social evidence and living in harmony with one another. Number 11. Perfectionistic. Speaking early on the INFJ's idealistic ways, there tends to be an underlying sense of perfectionism that highlights their expectations. Self-critical at heart, this personality type can really beat themselves up for falling short of these at times unattainable objectives. They have a hard time ignoring flaws and imperfections in themselves, their work, their relationships, and their lifestyles, making it extremely difficult for them to be happy with what they have without striving for better. Number 12. Passionate. Every INFJ holds an unshakable craving for purpose in life, with their biggest fear being living life on autopilot or following the crowd. INFJs tend to chase after the idealistic versions they form in their minds. They don't shy away from their dreams, but rather use their passionate visions for the future to fuel and energize them, temporarily subsiding their longing for purpose in their everyday lives. Number 13. Insightful. Truth seekers at heart, this personality type knows all too well that appearances can be misleading. With a strong understanding of people, things, and concepts, the INFJ not only holds room for learning more, but also has the ability to keep most of their understandings open-ended and malleable. They utilize their analytical strengths to gain the necessary wisdom that allows them the continual mind expansion they require to remain satisfied. Number 14. Creative. Through imagination and the keen ability to think outside the box, there's no wonder why the INFJ is seen as one of the more creative personality types. They don't fit in with others because they tend to think very differently from those around them, giving them both unrelatable hardships but also the incredible gift of forming unique creations. They tend to express themselves in distinctive ways while following interests and hobbies that wouldn't nearly intrigue the average person as it does the INFJ. Number 15. Sensitive. When it comes to using the word sensitive to describe someone's personality, it can certainly be perceived in many different ways. However, when it comes to the emotionally intelligent INFJ type, sensitivity doesn't necessarily apply to the emotional department. In fact, with such a reserved nature, some may say the INFJ is even unemotional in times where their emotions are expected to peak. For this type in particular, the term sensitive can be applied to their reluctance to accept criticisms as well as their sensitivity to external stimuli. With extroverted feeling and sensing, this type can easily become overloaded by the information they subconsciously gather through their surroundings. Number 16. Proactive. INFJs are future thinkers through and through. They can't help but to think of their next steps while simultaneously trying to envision the unexpected ups and downs the future holds. Despite their at times procrastinating ways, INFJs like to use their futuristic thinking patterns to prepare themselves in the best ways possible. Whether it's checking the menu before arriving at a restaurant or packing a few extra items for just-in-case scenarios, INFJs can always be counted on when it comes to their cautious approach to future experiences. Number 17. Contradictive. There's a long list of INFJ contradictions circulating around the MBTI resources, from their need to socialize despite their constant avoidance of social situations, to their desires to be free-spirited despite their requirements for order and organization. INFJs are subconsciously and unapologetically contradictory by nature. Number 18. Lone wolf. Speaking of the INFJ paradox of both avoiding and desiring community, this introverted personality type tends to lean towards independence while taking the path less traveled. Notorious for their lone wolf-like demeanor, the INFJ is solitary and prefers to live on the fringes of society. Yet they'd be the first to say that it doesn't mean they aren't lonely. Number 19. Level-headed. Calm and sensible, the INFJ is most likely to resort to logic when it comes to weathering a storm. They are known for their reliability and composed demeanor, allowing others to not only more easily trust them and their opinions, but also to resort to them for sound advice. Number 20. Romantic. You'd never know it from looking at the INFJ from the outside, but once someone has won over this private personality type's heart, romance is a non-negotiable when it comes to love. Rooted in their idealistic expectations, INFJs want the fairy tale aspects of love, regardless of their deep understanding of the difficulties that come with relationships. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, let us know in the comments below if you think we missed any crucial INFJ descriptive words. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.